introducing this kind of level of really structural corruption, of allowing the mob to join the Chamber of Commerce. It's extremely hard to get rid of. We're opening the doors to all kinds of people with suspect ties from Moscow to Tokyo.
And the Yakuza have already started finding ways in.
This new generation of gangsters, they're working for themselves. These guys aren't cutting their pinkies.
They are investing in other companies that are 100% legit, or they invest in a company where they do illegal things on the background. Human trafficking, sports betting, gambling.
Japan has approved its first ever casino. It's a $13.5 billion
Spike planted.
My eyes are down. Enemy down.
One enemy remaining.
You had your fun. My turn.
Last player standing.
project now moving forward near Osaka. Should open in 2029.
The Yakuza are definitely smiling at that, in my opinion. Japan has to make sure that they're not opening up new doors for global organized crime. Yakuza and others are going to be infiltrating these new properties that will be part of Japan's future.
Yakuza has been adapting their game for over 400 years, evolving to never be extinct. Even when one is exposed, there are millions of others lurking in the shadows.
They're pulling the strings in the back, but they have a normal person with a public face that's running the show. They are adapting all the time, and it really comes down to what is the easiest way to make a buck without getting caught.
So if you're worried about organized crime today, you ain't seen nothing yet.
This program contains images and videos of extreme violence and offensive language that may be hard to watch. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. May 2nd, 2020. A residential street in the Bronx. A blue Jeep parked for hours until...
Two men get out of a bright blue Jeep Grand Cherokee. They have Corona masks on their face. Both of them have firearms.
The gunmen have one objective: eliminate the target.
Mr. Rosado is coming out of 2522 Holland Avenue.
These individuals waited. They were stalking him.
They just start shooting at him. He runs a couple steps, he ends up tripping, and he rolls over onto his back. I mean, you can see him put his hands up like, don't shoot me, but they just unload into him.
Rosado is hit 5 times. It's a bloody execution, with bullets hitting his head and neck.
This wasn't a target of opportunity. This was a planned hit. It's almost reminiscent of some of the mafia hits from back in the day.
The CCTV footage was exactly like a movie. You saw some people with groceries putting them into the trunks of their cars, and suddenly these shots just ring out and everyone jumps to the ground. Any of them could have been shot, by the way.
Francisco Guns Rosado, the body on the sidewalk, was the Bronx president of the notorious Pagans MC. Of the outlaw motorcycle gangs, the Pagans have the reputation of being especially violent.
Mr. Rosado was completely covered in tattoos. His lips, privates, feet, toes. There was a tattoo the cops.
While it was easy to ID the victim, the masked assassins were a different story.
The detectives with the NYPD immediately started suspecting that it was the Hells Angels.
The Hells Angels and the Pagans hate each other's guts. The sight of them would start a fight right then and there. It was on site. It's like the Bloods and the Crips.
The Hells Angels have issued a standing green light order to attack, assault, or even kill any pagan that they encounter.
Since 1977, when they bought their headquarters on East 3rd Street, the Hells Angels have owned Manhattan, and the Pagans ruled the Bronx. But the shit hit the fan in 2019, when the Hells Angels sold their digs and moved uptown.
Hells Angels' New York City chapter has moved its headquarters to this quiet Throgs Neck neighborhood. The old American Legion building shows signs that the biker group has already moved in and decorated.
2 1%er clubs existing in the same term.
Reloading.
Wingman's gonna plant a spike. Spike's ticking. Thanks, little man. You did good. Careful here.
One enemy remaining.
Perf? It's just never going to work.
The Hells Angels would hang up their death head, which is very big signage that say, hey, we're here, F you. We're the Hells Angels, what are you gonna do?
Less than 48 hours later, the Pagans welcome the Hells Angels to the neighborhood with a rain of bullets.
But the Hells Angels had to respond because that was on.
Careful here.
Enemy spotted B. Enemy down.
Cutting their vision.
Enemy spotted C. Enemy spotted B. Spec dropped.
Careful here.
Insecto. Gun here.
One enemy remaining. 30 seconds left.
Who's the hunter now?
All right, homies, chill. We'll go again. Damn, you love being here. Like, way too much.
Still inside.
Stop it, Fox. Show me it. Destabilizing. Plant the spike, Wings. Spike planted. Thanks, Wings. You're finished. Got here.
Over there.
Enemy spotted C.
News networks everywhere. Hells Angels Clubhouse shot at.
Their Throgs Neck headquarters was shot at back in January by the Pagans motorcycle gang.
So they have to come back and be big news media somehow, some way.
Police say it was part of a motorcycle club turf war. It turned deadly.
It's hard to feel empathy for him because Rosado shot up their clubhouse. But you shoot up the Hells Angels clubhouse, something bad may happen to you.
Pagans, they're not any different than the Bloods, Crips, or Latin Kings. They are a violent, secretive organization that is expanding rapidly throughout our country.
Their patch says it all. God forgives. Pagans don't.
I was told I was joining the East Coast equivalent to the Mafia on wheels. If you do not work out, you better get missing.
This whole thing between it.
Wingman's planting. Careful here. We are sticking. Thanks, little man. Target down. My ult is ready. I'll take enemy spotted me. Reloading. Careful here.
Reloading.
Enemy spotted B.
Pagans and the Hells Angels gonna come to a head soon.
One enemy
The truth of the
remaining.
matter is people will die when that war starts, on both sides.
For over 65 years, the Pagans have roared through society.
When you ride a motorcycle, you feel invincible. You feel like nothing can touch you. It's kind of like a drug.
I used to ride on the back with my father. You don't know the feeling unless you've actually ridden on a Harley and you feel the vibration.
The freedom of just going out and riding as many miles as I can in a day.
But it's not all wind in the hair at sunset.
Pagans Motorcycle Club, I give the credit where the credit is due. They are a true 1% motorcycle club. We don't live by society's normal rules. We make our own rules and we live by them.
Christopher Baker sentenced to 75 years for trafficking more than 260 kilos of meth into North Carolina. Authorities say Baker, based in Raleigh, was a national leader for the Pagans Motorcycle Club.
The Pagans are involved in drug trafficking, most commonly methamphetamine. They also traffic in guns,
enemy
and
remaining.
they are known to commit acts of violence.
In one example, an aspiring pagan known as a prospect was alleged to have stolen from another pagan. Baker ordered that the prospect be tortured and his fingers cut off with an electric saw while he forced others to watch.
I have one father and two uncles that are pagans. And I remember playing with dolls and my Ninja Turtle toys. And then the door opens abruptly. It was my dad. You know, he's walking into my house with blood on his shirt.
But the Pagans didn't start out with murderous intent. 1%er lore is the motorcycle club was founded in the late 1950s by Lou Dobkin.
The information you have seen on the internet is not right. My grandfather, Lou Dobkin, he was in the Navy between 19...
Shadows traveling.
And you're done.
Don't resist.
One enemy remaining.
You had your fun. My turn.
One enemy remaining.
Is ready.
58 to 61. So that debunks him being in leadership of a motorcycle club in 1959. He was a take no shit, but give no shit type of person, and he liked racing.
One of Lou's racing buddies was Sonny Barger, the driving force behind the Hells Angels.
Him and Sonny were actually very good friends up until the day he died.
But Lou didn't want to be an angel.
Sonny wanted you to ride from East Coast to West Coast, and those guys thought, it's just, no, we're not going to be committed to ride all the way out there. We're going to be the East Coast equivalent to what you guys got on the West.
Lou named the club after his German Shepherd. Pagan. On a stash of rare audio tapes, Lou himself describes the Pagans.
Rough around the edges, greasy, shit-kicking hellraisers that believe in the ultimate simplicity of riding and wrenching amongst true brothers.
On nights and weekends, Lou was a thrill-seeking grease monkey. But he was leading a double life. By day, he was a biochemist for the National Institute of Health.
Every man has their family life, and then they have their personal life. Whether your personal life is going and watching a football game on a Sunday, or going and gathering with you guys and going out on a motorcycle.
For their logo, Lou and the Pagans chose the Norse fire giant Sutar from the Marvel comic Journey into Mystery.
Normally, you wear 3 patches. A top rocker with the name of your organization, a middle rocker, which would be the symbol of your gang.
They have a Sutar sitting on a sun holding a sword. It's all fiery. It's just a really, really cool looking patch.
Then a bottom rocker, which would claim the area that you're in. For years, they never wore bottom rocker because their mentality was they're nomads.
The rule is if wherever Pagan's foot is, we own.
In 1966, the Pagans are involved in a shootout with a rival gang in a Safeway parking lot. 100 rounds of ammo are exchanged. Lou faces a reckoning.
I worry about the future of the Pagans. There are guys waiting to take over who don't share my original vision. They see the club as a path to power and profit.
His club growing lawless, Lou Dobkin makes an impossible choice, trading his colors for a lab coat.
Tomorrow, I'll just be Lou Dobkin, NIH biochemist. It'll be safer that way, smarter. But damn, I'll miss the wind in my face and the rumble of bikes around me.
Media coverage of the shootout cements the Pagans' reputation as bloodthirsty.
It's rumored that the Pagans were the ones that started the 1% diamond patch, and the other clubs wear it.
My father had a tattoo, 1%. I asked him what it meant. He just said 1%
enemy remaining.
of people are outlaws.
It's just human nature. I mean, you want to feel like you belong to something. You want to be productive. And to have somebody standing next to you that has the same interests creates a bond.
The Pagans' tribe runs on 2 things, gasoline and drugs, particularly methamphetamines.
Meth has always been synonymous with motorcycle gangs because they needed a substance to act as a stimulant for them to ride their bikes a lot longer.
In the good old days, the Pagans would cook their own meth, then sell what they didn't use.
You would see individuals from the Pagans with fingers missing because the process of making meth can be very dangerous.
Pagan purple meth couldn't be touched by anybody else's methamphetamines. Eyes bugging out of their head like a cartoon. People paid high dollar for that purple meth.
Stopping fire.
Enemy spotted A.
See ya.
One enemy remaining. Last player standing.
Instinct only goes so far.
For as long as the Pagans have been dealing, the feds have been on their ass.
Between the membership and their associates, they move a lot of drugs. Yeah, there's several documented cases where Pagan members have been arrested for operating meth labs.
22 Pagans, including 4 of its national leaders, are charged in 1984 for selling meth and PCP. Drugs may be the bread and butter of the Pagans, but they're also big on extortion.
It's you and me.
Long
Making cover. Over there.
Enemy spotted
down.
B.
Gun here.
Cover going out. Planted.
Reloading.
Saw you, boss.
Reloading.
Dizzy's up top.
One enemy remaining.
Island, late 90s. Pagans are squeezing thousands from adult businesses. Those who refuse to pay $400 a week for protection are threatened with violence or arson. The ringleader behind this scheme is chapter president and national sergeant at arms, Keith Richter.
Keith Richter is known in the pagan nation as
Conan.
Conan.
Conan the Barbarian.
Conan gets his name from the fearless Marvel Comics character played by Arnold Schwarzenegger.
The hunt begins. Stopping fire.
Going out.
Still in sight. You fought well.
For you. Reloading.
Careful here. Dizzy's up. There. Hot pit. What the? I got you. Flawless.
Tall, muscular, has his long hair
Last
braided
round
and a
before
beard.
the switch.
He looks like a Viking warrior.
The man would give speeches and make the hair on your neck stand up. It made you proud to be a pagan.
I can imagine the energy of Archangel Michael.
Even the Hells Angels say he is a great guy.
Well, a leader of the Pagans motorcycle gang is behind bars on Long Island, Keith Richter.
They were shaking down strip clubs, and this one in particular, the bouncers weren't gonna let pagans come in and shake it down.
On the carousel in
Spike down A.
Not enough. Enemy spotted A.
Last player standing. Thirty seconds left. Ten seconds left. Switching sides.
Huntington. Seems they got a pretty tough bouncer there, and he would beat the pagans up whenever they try to get in.
Conan decides to have the problem removed.
The FBI said, among other crimes, Mr. Richter put out a murder contract on him.
Conan the Barbarian goes to prison for attempting and conspiring to commit murder. When he comes out, he will change the course of the pagans forever.
You have the underworld, you have organized crime.
Something go by your ear and it sounds like that means run.
United Gangs of America. New season premieres Tuesday at 10.
The Long Island Pagans chapter.
Last player standing. Spike down, C. Spike planted.
Is decimated when 34 members are convicted of extortion and conspiracy to commit murder, including revered leader Keith Conan Richter.
When I saw Conan for the first time in Graterford, I was like, ah, damn, he's big.
We do know that guys can get very big in jail.
With dozens of New York pagans on the inside, the power shifts to Philadelphia, and chapter president Stephen Montevergine, aka Gorilla.
Dream big.
Gorilla had been a police officer before he became a pagan. Gorilla is a big guy, and he had a lot.
Go get him, buddy. Go. Somebody's there.
Spike planted.
Presence and authority.
I had met Gorilla a couple of times back in the day when I was working in Philadelphia in the trade unions. He could be your friend or he could be your worst nightmare.
Gorilla is feared, except by the Hells Angels, who are looking to take over the pagans' flagship city.
Keep doing what we're doing, and we got it.
In 2001, when Gorilla is sent to the big house for racketeering, the Hells Angels pounce.
Tom Wood, they called him Thinker. He was Gorilla's underman. He was a great dude.
The Hells convince Thinker to do the unthinkable, betray his oath of pagans forever, forever pagans, and become a Hells Angel.
Tom was the strong point, a natural leader.
Careful here.
They didn't want to be pagans anymore, and they wanted to become Hells Angels.
It's close to the ultimate sign of disrespect to join a rival group.
Allegedly, the pagans choose to retaliate at a massive Hells Angel event, attended by Tom Wood and other turncoats.
Police say dozens were injured and one pagan from Lancaster was killed when the pagans invaded a Hells Angels tattoo expo.
A bunch of pagans smashed through the front door and started hitting people with axe handles.
Pagan members have been defecting to the Hells Angels. Pagan members took issue with that and decided to produce a show of force here.
My uncle was definitely front row for that. He was right up there with them, you know, fighting with his brothers, and he did quite the bid from that.
This biker blitzkrieg would go down in history as the Hellraiser's Ball, but the deadliest dogfight is still to come.
Back in 2005, we were at war with the pagans.
As a flagrant FU to his old tribe, a former pagan holds his Hells Angels patch party at a known pagan hangout. Tom Wood, now the Hells Angels vice president, is in attendance.
We understand they were leaving a bar last night. They were on their way down the Schuylkill Expressway when the shooting happened.
In trying to
Spike planted.
Up and away. Dizzy has saw you, Mosh. Wingman's defusing. Wingman.
One enemy remaining. Last player standing. Clutch.
Shield a fellow Angel from a pair of gunmen. Wood takes a bullet to the head.
I went a lot of places with Tom.
Is a lesson.
It was a hard time when he was murdered. And he might have been a pagan before, but he was a true Hell's Angel.
Sources now say Wood may have been on a hit list compiled by the pagans. All the names on the pagans hit list are former pagans themselves.
Even after Tom was murdered, there were still ex-pagans that were Hell's Angels in Philadelphia. Gorilla, supposedly put a mark on all of them.
Gorilla is questioned, but no arrest.
Spike planted. Last player standing.
Is made. To this day, Wood's murder remains unsolved. A few years later, Gorilla catches charges, and as he heads back to prison, Conan the Barbarian gets out.
Prison for criminals is their version of LinkedIn, Facebook, or any other networking site out there.
For 5 years after his release, Conan moves up the pagan ranks. Finally, he's reinstated as National Sergeant at Arms.
The Sergeant at Arms is usually a very violent individual.
They're the enforcer of the organization. They're the ones that would go out and commit acts of violence for the club.
As National Sergeant at Arms, Conan is one of the 13 ruling pagans called the Mother Club.
Conan didn't like the way
Spike planted.
That's as far as she goes.
Last player standing.
that the club was misusing funds. They were going into a direction where the club was losing its balls. Best way I could put it.
So Conan's part of the Mother Club, and then at some point he decides to take over.
Lancaster, Pennsylvania. At the annual party held in honor of Mailman, the pagan who died at the Hellraiser's ball, Conan mounts a coup.
Conan zip-tied various guys on the Mother Club and basically threatened them, my way, the highway. And those who chose not to were kicked out or forced to retire.
If you were there with Conan the day that they forcefully took over the club, you're giving up regulator patch.
From wiretap captured by Rhode Island State Police, news of Conan's takeover travels like wildfire.
Yeah, he took over. They put them out, the mother out. They threw him out the club. He was on the man now.
When Conan became president of the Pagans in 2018, he created what was called the Blue Wave.
The Blue Wave is what it sounds like, a tidal wave.